Hi everyone, my name's Rilo, and I just spent 10 hours in Crimson Desert. I completely understand why this game has mixed reviews on Steam. Before we dive in, if you enjoy deep dives with a bit of humor, make sure to like and subscribe. I got plenty more of these first impressions coming, as well as retrospectives, full-on game reviews, and really anything to do with gaming. I'm doing this as a first impressions instead of a full review because I think it's a bit silly to try to do a full review at this point. IGN, their approach seems to be to put as many hours into the game just to get a review out, and I think that's kind of silly. I think if you're brute forcing 100+ hours of gameplay in just to get a review out, that's probably going to hamper your review scores, so I think after 10 hours, I kind of have a solid sense of what works in this game, what doesn't, and I don't really think the core gameplay loop is going to change much. Sure, there's going to be more skills and things like that to unlock, and maybe some different gameplay options to unlock, but I think I have a good idea of what this game, where this game is going, what doesn't work currently, and just, I think I have a good take on what's going on with it. So, obviously, the developers of this game are Pearl Abyss. They are a South Korean developer, largely known for Black Desert Online. Now, Black Desert Online came out in North America in 2016, and I was actually there for the launch. I don't know how many of you are Lazy Peon fans, but I was really captivated by his 2015 video where he played the South Korean version, and I was just amazed by how good the graphics were for an MMO. You gotta remember, back in like 2015, MMOs largely had pretty okay graphics, but they made up for it for being a massively online game. So Black Desert basically had Witcher 3 graphics, but in a 2015 MMO. It was pretty mind-blowing for the time. And to this day, I mean, the graphics still look really amazing. Now, having said that, there's obviously some Black Desert Online DNA in this game. So if you've never played BDO, some of the systems and like some of the way the game works might be confusing at first, but if you play Black Desert Online at all, this shouldn't feel too alien to you. One thing I've noticed, some reviews really overstate how much of a sandbox this game is, especially compared to Black Desert Online. Even like Black Desert Online was a total sandbox MMO. This game, you do have a main quest to follow that kind of serves as like a roadmap on like what direction you should be going. So I guess like in a way it's a sandbox, sort of like Elden Ring would be a sandbox. Like there's an obvious path where you need to go. It's just like if you hit a speed bump or something, you can kind of go off the main path for a little bit, do some grinding, maybe level up, and then go back on, and you should be able to do a little bit better. So I wouldn't expect like a full open road like Breath of the Wild to a degree, but you do have a roadmap, and there is a ton of exploration and side stuff to do, so at least that's there. Now, let's go over some of the influences that this game has, because they are very obvious. So what comes to mind is like Enshrouded. So in Enshrouded, you have these puzzle towers that you have to do to unlock certain characters that can help you. In this game, you have kind of the same thing. So you have like the sky tower places. I think they call them like the Abyss or something. Honestly, in 10 hours, I only really did the beginning one so far, so I'm looking forward to doing more of them. But in that tower, like Sky Tower or whatever, there are puzzles, there's traps, and you unlock fast travel points, which they kind of, in my opinion, it seems like they took that right out of Enshrouded, because Enshrouded does the exact same thing. You also have like obvious Kingdom Come Deliverance influence here, so you have like reputation with individuals, with like merchants, and like if you have a good rep with them, they'll give you a lower discount. You can commit crimes like vandalism, which I do because I ride my horse right through people's fence, and that counts as vandalism. There's day and night cycles that actually matter. You can be exhausted, you're hungry, thirsty, etc. So there's definitely some Kingdom Come Deliverance, hardcore RPG influence there. And I see some Elden Ring here too with the boss fights. The boss fights can be very challenging in this game, so there's definitely a lot of influence from a lot of different games, and I support that completely because, everything to a degree is derivative. And this game is obviously trying to do something on its own. It definitely has its own identity. I don't feel like I'm really playing any of those other games. I can just tell that there's influence there. Let's talk about some of the quest design of this game, because I think that's where I really have my first issues with this game. These quests just feel extremely similar to Black Desert Online or really any other MMO quest. You have a lot of, go here, kill this, collect this objectives. And that works fine in an MMO, but in a single player RPG, it feels a bit grindy, especially in my first 10 hours. Like, I've noticed, like, I'm doing a little bit of the same thing. And it's a shame because, like, I feel like these quests aren't taking full advantage of how cool the world is and like how beautiful it is. I'll be following someone to a location, and instead of just meeting them there, I have to ride the whole way alongside them, even though there's interesting stuff happening along the way. But I can't stop and do that interesting stuff, because if I do, then I have to restart following the guide to the quest objective. I don't know, it's small quirks like that. I feel like the game is kind of in conflict with itself. I kind of wish it had like the Kingdom Come Deliverance system where like you can just say like, no, I'll meet you there. I don't want to do this quest yet. Or like, I need to do stuff along the way. I'll meet you there. Henry can say that. I think a system like that would greatly benefit in this game. While we're on the cons, another con of mine that I have is there seems to be a hint of this game just being over-designed in general. One thing that comes to mind is the memory fragment system. It's really just, it seems unnecessarily complicated. So you have to scan the scene, pause the game, equip a helmet. Actually, you don't pause the game, you hit the start button, equip a helmet, and then you can actually view the memory. It's a cool concept. Think about like Arkham Knight, where like as Batman you can kind of like review a crime scene. It's kind of like the same system. It just, there's too much steps in it. I think to fix it, they should honestly just skip the whole you have to press the start button to equip the helmet, or maybe bind that to a different key, or just make it automatic even. I don't know. It's a cool concept, but the extra steps interrupt pacing and make it feel unnecessarily complicated. Let's move on to a positive, though. Combat is where this game really shines. One-on-one fights especially feel really amazing, fast, impactful, and very BDO-like. Multi-enemy fights, though, that's where I have a lot of issue. Multi-enemy fights feel extremely janky because the lock-on system is kind of bad. So lock-on is the left trigger, but that also shares the same keybind as the parry. So if you're trying to parry multiple enemies at once, it's kind of a mess, because you'll be locking on to people you're not trying to parry, or it just seems like kind of unintuitive. Now, I'm sure I could probably rebind the parry ability if I really wanted to. But I don't know, I don't really like changing my keybinds, so I would prefer that like it just wasn't broken like this. I shouldn't say it's broken, because I'm not having too much of an issue. I think I've only died a few times, and it was to one boss. So like I'm obviously not struggling with the game, but I don't think parry and lock on should be the same button. I think that's a massive issue. Now, moving on to a pro. I didn't know this was going to be in the game, but you do have the abilities to switch characters. I thought Cliff was going to be the main character that you stay as the whole time, but no, you, around 7 hours, I unlocked Damiana, maybe. I don't know how her name's pronounced, but yeah, she's more of like a magic gunslinger instead of Cliff, who's like a brute force shield and board type guy. But it's cool. It's kind of like the GTA 5 system where you can switch, and like the character you switch to is already doing stuff in the open world. So, you're not just like, changing your appearance real quick, or, no, this character is already doing stuff when you're switching to them. So you're going to be doing that in the moment. And honestly, the Grand Theft Auto 5 system is so cool, and we really haven't seen it used in other games, so I'm very happy to see that used here. I really wish they would use that in like a superhero game or something, where like, I don't know, you're like patrolling like New York as Spider-Man, and you can switch to like Captain America while he's doing something. I feel like that is such a drastically underused system in gaming. I hope we see more of it, and I'm really happy to see it here. Now let's move on to an issue I have. Enemy variety is a bit of a problem. So in my 10 hours, I'm sure this game is going to expand the further I get into it. I know there's dragons in this game and like other fantasies type enemies. But like so far, I've only really seen bandits and like orcs. Or like, I don't know, what look like orcs. They might not actually be orcs. And I don't know, it feels like I'm just fighting the same things over and over. And I don't know, this could change further on in the game, but it would be nice to see more variety early on if possible. Now let's move on to the technical performance of the game. The technical performance has been mostly solid. I'm running a PC with an RTX 5070 Ti, so it is a bit upper end, kind of, but I'm able to run this with no upscaling, max settings completely, and it's only using 7 gigs of VRAM. So honestly, my last graphics card could have ran this game pretty fine as well, and that was a 3070 Ti. Which with 8 gigs of VRAM, so it would have been pushing it obviously, but you know, with upscaling and stuff, I could have easily got that down. Having said that though, the graphics are a little bit of a mixed bag, so it seems like what they showed off really isn't how the game is actually. Honestly, this game just looks like Black Desert Online. You know, especially like if you go to like a waterfall or like you really look up close to textures, they really look muddy. The waterfalls look like PS3 waterfalls. They just don't look modern. So yeah, I don't know. While like distant mountains look really beautiful, when you're like up close to stuff, it really doesn't look that great. However, it doesn't really bother me. I'm not one who's like a super heavy graphics connoisseur. I'm fine with how the game looks, but I do think they maybe overstated how good the game looks. I don't know. It's not super cutting edge. It just kind of looks like a slightly better Witcher 3 maybe, but I think in a lot of cases Witcher 3 looks better. So I don't know. It's kind of like that class of RPG, which is fine to me. I also like Red Dead Redemption 2 especially. A lot of similarities in the graphics there. Now let's kind of go over like my takeaway before the outro. So the more I play this, the more it honestly just feels like a single player MMO. You know, it's not trying to be streamlined like The Witcher 3 or Red Dead Redemption 2, but a game you chip away at over time, which is why I was sort of fine doing this first impressions. This isn't going to be a game where I just play straight through and like put it down forever. This is going to be a game where I come back to and put a few hours in it every now and then. Maybe do like 10 hours a day, or like 10 hours like one week and like maybe only a couple hours the next week. I kind of feel like I can treat this as an MMO. Like, sure, I might forget maybe some of the controls, but like the story isn't really the reason I'm playing. I'm playing more to like unlock new abilities, to unlock more gameplay systems, kind of like how you would in an MMO where you're leveling up to unlock more features of the game essentially. But like to me personally, I mean, many people might not, because many people don't play MMOs, but I love the idea of more games being solo MMOs. MMOs have been a genre that have been effectively dead for like the past 15 or so years. I mean, I used to be a huge World of Warcraft head up into Battle for Azeroth. So yeah, I mean, it's fun to see MMO mechanics being incorporated into a single player game. I think that's a really cool idea and something that we don't really see often. All right, so let's move into my outro. Do I recommend this game? To a certain subset of players, I do think this game will be great for you. If you want a narrative focused, streamlined experience, akin to like The Witcher 3, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Red Dead Redemption 2, you know, games like that, then I don't think this is going to be for you. I think it's going to probably overwhelm you, honestly, if you try it. But if you want a game with like BDO style combat, the sandbox spirit of Breath of the Wild, and some Korean MMO style systems and quest design, it's a lot of fun. Especially if you're not like, if you're okay just playing this over a long period of time and not trying to rush through it, I think it's a lot of fun. You know, despite some of the elements being a bit over designed or frustrating, at the end of the day, Crimson Desert does a lot of things great. Some things okay and some things bad. It could have probably benefited from focusing more on the former, but even so, I've had a lot of fun, and I'm excited to keep playing. Now at this point, all I really need is a single player World of Warcraft Classic with good AI. That way I can just play by myself instead of with other people. I think that would be great. Or maybe old school RuneScape. Ooh, that would be great. But let me know how you guys think, or what you guys think, sorry. Do you guys enjoy this game, and do you agree with me? Have you played it? Have you been sitting on the fence kind of waiting for a sale maybe? Or, you know, let me know what you guys think. I think it's been a pretty fun game so far. But if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and have a great day.